So something came to me, and it came to me because I was thinking about the book that I'm reading. I think it's Emotionally Immature Parents, something like that, right? And I haven't really been reading the book per se. It's just the title alone is stirring up so much in me. And I was speaking to someone, and I ended the statement by saying, well, it just happened. And right there, it hit me. How in the heck do things just happen? And that's when it was like a ding moment. Things just happen when your needs and your wants are so strong that they overpower your values and your morals for yourself. And I know for a fact that I am not the only person who has been in a situation where you had to end the statement and say, it really just happened. Hi, my beautiful souls. So I know I am not where I usually am. I think I really don't know where I want to be when I do these videos. I kind of just go with the flow. But the reason why I'm in my kitchen right now is because it is cold in this apartment, and I don't know why the heat ain't on. So sometimes you got to revert back to the ways of the old days when you turned that stove on. You turn the oven on and you let that oven open and you let it heat up the whole apartment. So that's where I'm at. I'm right next to my oven, okay, getting some nice heat because baby girl needs some heat. But I am so happy to be here, okay? I hope that y'all are feeling good. Summer is gone. I cried a lot. I was so sad, but it's okay because you know what? I am the sun, okay? I bring the sun with me everywhere I go. There it is. And I'm excited to talk about this topic because it really hit me that a lot of us sacrifice our values and our morals when our needs seem to be so high on our margin, right? When we feel as though my needs are overpowering what I know to be true. So let me tell you where this conversation came from. Let me just dive in, right? Let me just dive on it. First, welcome to my new subscribers. Welcome to all those who have been following me. I appreciate you. You know I don't like to call you followers. I love to call you subscribers because you do not need to be led. But in this conversation, I want to take you on a journey with me, okay? Because I know for a fact I am not the only person who has said, well, it just happened. And let me put a disclaimer. I used to judge people who said that. I'm not going to lie. I used to question, what do you mean it just happened? Nothing just happens until it hit me. And I was like, oh, so that's how it just happened. So I'm reading the book, I'm lying. I'm skimming through the book, I'm lying. I looked at the title of the book. Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. And I know I'm supposed to be reading it. I know I am. But what happened was, because you know when somebody say what happened was, they about to lie, but I promise you it's true. What happened was, the title alone had just stirred up so much in me that I was just like, we're going to have to talk about it. And let me talk about it. I was having a conversation with someone some years ago. This is how it started. And they ended their conversation on, well, it just happened. And I looked at them and I was like, it ain't just happened. Ain't nothing just happened. You had to think about it. You had to process it. You had to reanalyze it. The person had to agree to it. It was too much for it to really just happen. Now, fast forward to where I am. I realized my upbringing was kind of lopsided, if you will. Meaning, I had one parent who was my dominant parent, which is my mother, who was very much hands-on and active. And then I had another parent who was not really there, which was my father, who had his own things, and I looked so much like him, so it's kind of weird. But anywho, and as I grew up, I realized that there was an imbalance in me, the way that I moved with women versus how I moved with men, the way that I was with my sexuality, the way that I questioned life and people. I was just really a different person. I realized that I made more friends with women, but I didn't trust women. And then I realized that I was terrified of men, but I wanted them. It was very confusing, right? And I didn't understand. Now, granted, I believe that when I dive into the book on the deeper level, I will definitely get an answer. But until then, we're just going to leave it where it is. Okay? All right. So I realized that as I started to want to date and as I started to want to develop relationships with men, my way of dealing with them was very off. I noticed that I would attract more unavailable men. And by me attracting unavailable men, it made sense to me. It felt weird attracting men who were available. Let's just talk about that. It felt weird attracting men who were available. Why? Because I was used to men who were not available. My dad wasn't available. My brother wasn't available. So I thought that was normal. When I met a man who was like, I want to be here with you and I'm available and I got the time and the energy, I was like, I don't know what to do with that. That is foreign to me. What am I supposed to do? What do you require of me? And I didn't realize that that was a psychological makeup of a pattern that I was dealing with the men in my family who made me feel like I was either asking for too much, I was too much, they didn't have time, they didn't want to be around me, whatever it was. I started to feel like unavailability in men was normal, and men who were available required something of me that I didn't even know I possessed. Take that, hold that, because that is what you call transparency. It looks good on me, transparency. I realized that dealing with unavailable men became a pattern. I realized that even when I got men who were available, they were unavailable either emotionally, spiritually, financially, in communication, intimacy. There was always something that was just unavailable. If they weren't unavailable as a whole, there were pieces of them that I just couldn't reach, or they didn't know how to deal with me. So one day I met a man who was unavailable, but we clicked on so many levels. It was crazy. And I was just like, is this Satan? I was like, this can't be real. And it hit me that I started to push my morals and my values to the back. I started to move more like, well, I want what I want. And this person is able to fulfill my needs, right? I realized later on my morals started to dwindle far back to the point where it was just like, well, I'm not really hurting anybody. Isn't it interesting? When we get what we think we want, how easy it is to rationalize our bad behavior. It's so easy to turn our mind into the total opposite direction when we want what we want. And we don't care about who gets hurt, or we don't want to care about who gets hurt, right? So let me put this tea down, because we're gonna talk. We gotta get honest, because truth sets you free, right? When I met this person and I realized that there was a level of unavailability, I realized that my needs and this person's needs were greater than both of our values and our morals. What do I mean by that? My needs for acceptance, my need for validation, my need for wanting to be loved by a man and feeling like I wasn't a problem and I was deserving of feeling loved and appreciated and getting attention was so high on my list, whether I knew it or did not, whether it was conscious or subconscious. That need was so strong that it overpowered my reality of, Shayla, you're better than this. You know you can get somebody available if you just let go of what was holding you back, if you let go of the fact that you didn't have certain things. But like I said, that need was so strong that I started to justify my actions. When people usually say that it just happened, honestly, I can believe them. Real talk, even though nothing really just happens, things usually start off in a spiritual essence, right? There's a imbalance spiritually where you feel like this need needs to be met. And when you have a need that is so strong in your reality, right, in your body, in your system, in your spirituality, when you feel like that need is so strong, what happens is energetically you start to move on that frequency. When you move on that frequency, you will 9 times out of 10 meet somebody out of the blue who's on that frequency, who you feel can give you that need met. Do you understand what I'm saying? Perfect example. When I hear people say that they cheated and they're like, it really just happened, what I hear is they were deprived of something or they wanted something, one or the other, right? And their partner wasn't giving it to them, or they felt like they could not go to their partner to get it. So that want was so strong that they radiated on that vibration of what they wanted. They go outside and they meet a person out of the blue who's on that frequency energetically, and then it just happens. It just happens. Now, let me make a little bit less intense. When you are deprived of love from your parent, when you feel deprived of the affection, the validity, the validation, the self-worth, the gratification that you need in order to sustain a healthy relationship as an adult, when you feel deprived of those things, as an adult, what happens is that doesn't get met or dealt with until you deal with it. Now, if you feel like you're unequipped to get those needs met, what happens is you just grow up with those same needs not being met, and you wander the world hoping, looking, searching, subconsciously manifesting those needs to be met. I don't care if you've never spoke about these needs that you feel like have not been met. Energetically, you know that it's there. So when you walk out in the street and you realize, why do I connect with this person so much? I don't know why. It's because what happened is they're on the same frequency of, well, I just want to give, or I'm missing something. I need something too. And then y'all just connect. You get it in one way, form, or fashion. Humans need certain things. We need water. We need oxygen. And we also need something that a lot of people don't want to acknowledge. We need human connection. We need intimacy. It took two twins, and one twin was touched and nurtured and coddled by their parents and grew up to be strong and ready for the world. And then the other one was never touched, only when it was time to change their diaper and be fed. But there was no communication, there was no nurturing, there was no intimacy. The baby died. The baby died, which goes to show you that that is fundamental. So when I hear people say that they're in relationships, so when I hear people say that they're in situations where their partner is not touching them, you are basically killing them. You're depriving them of a necessity, right? When I hear parents, or when I hear children say, like, my parent never said that they loved me, or they never gave me the attention that I needed, they never validated me, and here I am as an adult, I feel like I need validation from the world. Well, baby, you do. What you really needed you needed it from your parents, but what happened was they were not equipped. So now you are searching and roaming, right? You're roaming for that need to be met. And guess what? It can get met, but under what pretenses, right? I think a lot of people who battle with getting their needs met, what happens first is it's a psychological thing. You first believe that you can't do it. You believe that you're not equipped, because when you were first born, right, your parents were the ones who were supposed to do it, meaning you were 100% dependent on them, which is a fact. No child comes here fully equipped. No. You need your parents to feed you and nurture you and take care of you, right? When those things are not met, you have an imbalanced root chakra. So if that imbalanced root chakra is imbalanced until you grow up, it's not crazy to believe that now you're an adult and you're still moving in a childlike frequency of, I need this, I need that. That's why I do not judge people who say, I need physical touch, I need conversation. I used to feel some type of way when I would even say, I need hugs. I need attention. No man is an island. And what's happening in this day and age is we're starting to move into this energy of hyper independence, which means you can't even say, I need this from you, because people start to say, well, why are you so dependent? Pull back, because you never know what someone is battling with. You never know what someone is dealing with. If you know that you need attention, if you know that you need physical touch, don't let anybody judge you for that. Don't let anybody make you think you're losing your mind, because you know your development story. I realized that I kept attracting unavailable men. Even to this day, I still attract unavailable men. I had to ask myself, what in me is attracted to these men? And every time I asked that, it went back to, you were used to men making it seem like you were a problem. You were used to men giving you the bare minimum. You were used to men making it seem like they didn't want you around. Your dad let it be known that he wasn't capable to be there for you. Your brother made it seem like he wasn't equipped to be there for you. So the two prominent examples of men were unavailable one form or fashion. So you see that as normal, even though there's deeper parts in me that crave and desire a man who's available to me, for me, and all of it, right? I also realize that the reason why I attract that isn't because there's something wrong with me. It's more so, oh, that's what I was used to. That's what I saw. That's what I experienced. So I thought that was normal. Right? I thought that I wasn't worthy of getting something that was for me. I thought that I was too much of a hassle. So getting pieces of another person made me feel like, oh, all I had to do was give pieces of myself. When a piece of a person wants a piece of you, that means you don't have to do everything. You don't have to really be your best self. You can be just enough to hold on to them. And a lot of us feel like we're just enough. Why? Because somebody made us feel like when we were ourselves, we were too much. So to be just enough means you don't really get criticized when you're just enough, right? You know, if he's unavailable or if she's unavailable and she got somebody and get a side piece, you don't really need to do everything because they got someone. You see what I'm saying? When you feel deprived as a child and then you grow up to be an adult, you start to notice that you have a pattern of everything that you do seems to just be too much. So it's like, I'll just do a little bit of this and a little bit of that because I can't be as big as I want to be, because what happens is when a person who has felt like a problem or felt deprived for so long, when they start to think big thoughts, it actually does intimidate them, because what happens is they start to have triggers of, well, when I was just being me, somebody said I was doing too much, or they didn't want me, or they made me feel like a problem. A lot of us are shrinking in ways that we don't even realize it until we sit down and we analyze our patterns. These patterns become habits, and these habits become your character. And if you want to change your character, then you have to work backwards. Well, where did it stimulate from? Okay, so what didn't get fixed or healed or restored that you feel like at this stage you're still not equipped? Because a lot of the times it's just limiting beliefs that you're carrying from the little you. Really want to give yourself your needs. If you really don't want to keep saying, well, I don't know, it just happened, well, then you have to start at the root. How do you view yourself, right? Where do you see yourself going? All right, think about it, because saying too many, it just happened, or I don't know, it really does reflect on you. It's better to say I know how it happened and I'm going to move better moving forward versus I don't know, because you can't really, where do you start if you don't know? You know, where do you go with the I don't know? Now, you can go far if you choose. You could ask questions. Well, I don't know. The question is, well, do you want to know? A lot of us don't want to know how we got into these situations. A lot of us are very comfortable being on the side and the piece and looking and searching. A lot of us are okay with it. And listen, that's your business. I'm not going to judge it. But if you are curious onto why this keeps happening, then you should really sit down with yourself. And like I said, if you want to sit down with me, we are more than available. I am more than available. Who we? Me, myself, and I, all three of us. We are available to you to assist you, because sometimes you need someone to ask you a little bit deeper questions so that you can hear the answer on why you do what you do. Until next time, peace.